house and sent more or less water depending on its own analysis of the situation. Nobody can rationally argue that such a mechanism formed spontaneously by iron and cement mixing with one another. That is, it suddenly began pumping a random amount of water which came into being by coincidence in a rhythmic manner, and that it subsequently equipped itself with a pipeline system capable of reaching 100 trillion homes. What is obvious is that the system was in fact brought into being by a rational entity. Since it is clear that even such a poor man-made structure as compared with the heart cannot come into existence spontaneously, then there can be no doubt that the heart, with all its magnificent features, could have done so either. The heart is in every way a work of art. As we shall shortly see in detail, this unique and miraculous system manifests the sublime wisdom and power of Allah in every single detail. As we are informed in the verses of the Quran. Does man reckon he will be left to go on unchecked? Was he not a drop of ejaculated sperm, then a blood clot, which he created and shaped, making from it both sexes, male and female? Is he who does this not able to bring the dead to life? The human body consists of some 100 trillion cells. Each one of these cells has different tasks and properties. Some, like red blood cells or erythrocytes, have no nucleus. Others, such as those in the respiratory tract, are covered in microscopic hairs, while still others have their own engines to enable them to move about. But there is one kind of cell in the body that possesses a special attribute not to be found in any other. These cells are able to contract and expand. Special muscle cells in the heart possess this quality. The assembly of these cells suddenly go into action during the embryo stage. These cells are still able to beat after all the nerves connected to them and all connections with the surrounding organs have been severed during open heart surgery. Indeed, even when we separate just one of these cells and place it under a microscope, it will continue to pulsate as long as we nourish it with blood. What makes these cells so special is the way that they function as if they had taken a conscious decision to beat, pump blood, and keep the body alive. But what is the technical mechanism that allows these special cells to beat? Heart cells beat thanks to a low voltage electric current that passes over them. Every cell that makes up the heart is just like a living battery. They make their own chemical energy that initiates the action we refer to as the heartbeat. These processes, which are far too complex to be described in detail during this short film, cannot be explained in terms of any evolutionist claim. We can give this a more concrete form by means of an example. If you could examine the heart cells one by one under the microscope, you would see that each one beats at a different rate. This is a most astonishing and miraculous state of affairs because rather than indicating irregularity, this is actually a sign of an impeccable order. The heart beats in a rhythmic and synchronized manner. The cells literally know in line with that synchronization when to contract and when to expand. That is because Allah has inspired each one with how it needs to beat. When two heart cells beating at different rhythms come together, they immediately develop a common rhythm by means of a most extraordinary mechanism. When all the cells combine together, they assume the form of a single organ and maintain the best rhythm for the pumping of the blood. This flawless harmony among the cells is one of the proofs of our Lord's artistry. Allah is Almighty, the Lord of all. The heart has a vital working mechanism. Let us now have a closer look at this. The most important of the mechanisms in your heart are the pumps known as the atrium and ventricles on its right and left. It is the responsibility of the left atrium and ventricle to distribute the oxygenated blood arriving to the heart to the organs and tissues. The right atrium and ventricle are responsible for sending the dirty or oxygen-depleted blood to the lungs for cleaning. When oxygenated blood reaches the heart, it first passes to a small pump in the upper part, or the left atrium. From there, it is passed on to a large pump beneath, which is the left ventricle. Similarly, deoxygenated or dirty blood is passed from the right atrium to the right ventricle. Everything here needs to take place in the right order. If that order is damaged, either no or too much blood will be pumped through the body. There are valves between the atria and ventricles to permit the sequence to take place properly. These valves open in only one direction, that of the flow of blood. When the atria contract, these valves open and blood fills the ventricle. Once this process has taken place, the valves close to prevent the blood flowing back to where it came from. Similar valves are also present in the ventricles. When ventricles contract, the valves open and let the blood flow directly to the body. When the pumping process stops, the valves close and blood is thus prevented from returning to the heart. The sound we perceive as the heartbeat is not contrary to what most people imagine, the sound emerging as the result of the heart's contraction and dilation. What we are actually hearing is a powerful opening and closing of these four valves. This impeccable system proves that the heart and the circulatory system could not have emerged as the result of chance, but were created by a sublime power. That power belongs to Almighty Allah, Lord of the heavens and the earth. The timing of the heart also constitutes a flawless structure and order. This is established by the coordination and communication among the cells that comprise the heart. A sublime intelligence is manifested in the cells. These cells transmit a current to the other side of the heart at a speed of approximately 60 centimeters a second. The production of the signal is astonishingly quick, 1/14 of a second. As the current moves quickly, it sets the two atria in motion and enables these to contract in order to collect blood. Just when the electrical impulse is about to reach the ventricular muscles, it is halted by specialized cells in the muscle tissue between the right atrium and the right ventricle. This causes a delay in the flow of the current to reach the ventricle, and the speed of the current falls to 20 centimeters a second. This delay is exceedingly important because due to it, the atrium pumps the blood and is empty completely before the ventricle contracts. This is the secret behind the synchronized action of the heart. What you are watching is just one of the countless details inherent in the heart's electrical system. The slightest interruption to this system, with its miraculous features, will lead to blood not reaching the organs or else reaching them late. This will give